Okay, today's date is May the 12th, 2013. It is 7:51 or 7:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is part two of whatever happened to Christian singles. Okay, I'm going to repeat what I said here. The second thing that I've noticed is that, okay, since the Christian singles groups were real big in the 90s, one of the things that I think that attracted a lot of single women to these groups was the fact that if you were not maybe an attractive woman or super attractive, or maybe you were a single woman with a couple of kids or divorced, but still relatively young, and I use that between, say, 25 to 40, that's a good range, it offered you an opportunity to go and meet a guy that, you'd go out there. It was your best chance of landing a guy in 1995 if you were a single woman and you had maybe some Christian morals. Even if you weren't a Christian woman, like really strong values, maybe you just wanted to meet a guy that had good values and you wanted to get a guy in your life. Well, in 1995, a woman in that situation was not prime real estate. She wasn't like, her sexuality wasn't so valued back then that she could just go out and have any guy. Now what has changed this now is the fact that these women now have, to the point of disgustingness, these women with tattoos that weigh 250 pounds, that got a ball of jello for a stomach, that got two illegitimate kids from two different daddies, or three different daddies, three kids from three different daddies, they don't have to do anything to meet a guy. There are decent guys that will date these girls now. And so the women that used to have to go to these Christian singles groups to meet a guy and meet a quality guy, which was a better option, don't need to go this route. Now, of course, they're going to deal with the guys that are not so savory. And so this has destroyed this is a major factor. I think this takes a more precedent. Well, I'm going to say it's probably up there with the same one about the creepiness of singles events, being overtly single. This is a big thing that's changed it. The third thing is that it kind of falls into the second one, is that we live in a culture that we're more overt. We pretty much just, this is what I want to say, the internet. The internet has made this work. This is a factor that has made this horrible, is the internet. The internet has made it possible for people to not really have to physically get out of their house and do anything. And even if these women today, many of which are highly marketable, for the simple fact that they're obviously sexuality, but they can just sit in the privacy of their own home, put up about 10 or 12 or 15 pics on POF or Match. They don't even have to pay for their service. I'm going to go by the free sites, OkCupid and POF. I don't have accounts with them anymore. I had one account for one site for one time. It was POF. I took it down. But they don't need to really do anything. They just placed up a picture and kaboom, they get 35, 40, 50 responses in a day. And so right there's their men. That's the internet has had a major impact on Christian singles in a negative way. It has not made it easy. And I'm going to just leave it at those three. I may make a part 3 to this video. Those three things that I talked about, I think I didn't write those down. I'm just ad-libbing them as I go, but I think I'm pretty much right on the money. The first one being that the first problem being that the term Christian singles invites unwanted attention from the wrong people. 2, women have more, their sexuality is valued more. And number 3, the internet's made it much easier for women and even good-looking guys to hook up with people. And it's just made it a nightmare. So I guess with the 10 minutes I have remaining on here, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say that a lot of the arguments that were being brought up on these Christian events made sense. That what should be the case with churches today is this. They should have it where instead of having these segregated groups like men's groups, women's group, married, divorce group, all this, this one woman made a reference to Hasidic Jews, or She said she worked for a Jewish nursing home, and one of the things that the fundamentalist Jews would do, and the Amish of course do this for sure, I would say the Amish are more like this, is they integrate all the young people with the old people. They pair up young with old, and they become like mentors toward each other. The young need the old, and the old need the young to feel young. It's kind of a reciprocal thing where, the idea of having these segregated groups kind of creates a semi-problem. And so that was the remedy to the problem. I don't know if that'll cure the problem. Now, the reason I don't think that'll cure the problem is because, again, what we're dealing with now in the churches regarding Christian singles is that there are very few Christian singles really going to church anymore. And this is ironic because probably 50% of the adult population is single. Now, a lot of those single people are those young college kids I mentioned that do go to church. Those young teeny bopper, early 20-something Christian kids. Some are going to trade schools, some are going to college, some are working at Walmart. But nevertheless, they're attending these Christian bebop, teeny bop type Christian events. And of course, there's a huge plethora of young people today. I mean, the Generation Y is huge. It's colossal. And it explains why there's so many kids to market to. So this really opens up very little opportunity for people in the age groups of, let's say, 25 to 45 or 25 to 50 who are maybe divorced, didn't have a chance to get married, maybe had to take care of an elderly parent. And this is a common thing, too. You'll see a lot of times kids will have to be responsible for taking care of a sick parent while the other kids are living out of state or something. So, there's no opportunities really. I mean, there's none of these young people, these people between, say, 25 to 50 that are single or divorced really going to church anymore. I mean, they're really not in these groups anymore. What you have in church today are prepackaged couples with young, cute kids running around in little nurseries. You have a lot of teenage kids, and you might see a stray elderly person that is a very devoted Christian that's single. I see, especially these big churches, they're catering to the family, the pre-made family, and unfortunately, this is the dilemma we young people or single people are at. If we have good values or morals, we run into this problem. And I'll go back to this again. When I remember the Christian singles groups of the 90s, the pre-internet era, they were huge. I mean, you'd go to these things and there were good-looking guys. I mean, there were good-looking women, divorced. I mean, if you wanted to date somebody that was divorced, maybe had a kid, you could do that. Or you could date if you're young enough, you could date a girl your age, or a guy your age if you're a woman. It was the most romantic time I ever remember. And I'm not just saying that because I was young. I would say this if I was, I'm healthy now. I don't smoke and drink. I exercise. I would say that even if I was going to one of those groups today, if this was 1995 or 94 or 96, I can honestly tell you that things would be much better because the internet has screwed this whole thing up. I mean, the internet's made it possible for me to disseminate this message with YouTube, but it's also made everything so screwed up with these single sites, the hookup culture, the attitude that, the over-glorification of women's, sexuality is just insane. So I'm going to sign out of here now. This is part 2, and today's date is May the 12th, 2013. It's about 7:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Leave your comments and suggestions. I especially want to hear comments from people that normally don't comment on my videos, particularly Christians who have gone to church, who've noticed this change. Okay, I'm out of here.